The Sisters of Notre de Namur first came to Arizona in 1950. St. Julie told us to go out into the world to teach the people what they need to know for life. That's still our mission, in Arizona and around the world. The first 4 sisters stepped off a train and headed straight to Our Lady of Perpetual Help in Glendale. Another group joined them a few years later.
There were 5 of us who went, and I remember I was the youngest of the 5. We started our work at Most Holy Trinity in Sunny Slope. We opened the school with 4 grades. You only get to know people and areas really well when you live there yourself. We made very strong bonds. In fact, some of the kids that I taught in 1953 still come here to see me. Then we spread out to the territories around there, Peoria and places like that. So we covered a lot of territory for the few sisters we had out there. We were very excited to be there, and they were glad to have us.
I first went to Arizona in '66, but I was just there for a 6-week summer session to prepare children for First Communion. I came back in '73, and I was looking around for work, but I landed in the parish where the sisters lived in Glendale, Arizona, and I began working there with the teens, with the young people. One thing that I did when I was there in Glendale is we went out every week on Saturday to teach the children. We called it Arrowhead Ranch. It was a working ranch where Mexican immigrants were recruited to work, to pick in the fields. And then I got invited to another parish in another little town called El Mirage, Santa Teresita, and I was doing the youth ministry there. I loved that very much. We had a lot of camping trips with the kids.
I first came to Arizona in 1981 because I wanted to get to know the Hispanic culture and the language and everything else. So I came out and I taught for a year at Our Lady Perpetual Help in Glendale. Then I spent most of a year in Mexico learning Spanish. And I came back, and then I was 2 years at Our Lady of Perpetual Help again, this time in Hispanic ministry. Loved every minute of it. I would still be there had they not called me to come back here and work here.
I came to Arizona in 1991, asked to try it for a year, replacing a sister who had been called to mission on our General 8 team. And so I tried it for a year, and I stayed for 9. So spiritually, it was an education and a deep development for myself personally. When the suggestion or the request was made for sisters to come and actually build a Habitat house and move into the Habitat community in South Phoenix, Sister Carmen and I were the first 2 that volunteered to do that. And everybody else came together. So it was a community project to build that house.
Our missions are to serve the poor in the most abandoned places. I felt like I was right in the middle of that, walking the streets back and forth in the first parish where I was. And I think I brought some life and joy to that parish, which was part of knowing the goodness of God.
Well, we base everything on God's goodness. And it's so easy to do in Arizona because of the nature. It's so beautiful. It's so lovely to be there.
But it was all just being overwhelmed with the goodness of God and wanting people to understand that and trying to understand how they perceived God's goodness from their own lives, not to implant ours on them. That mutual learning and mutual appreciation is so important.
Over 7.5 decades, we've served countless people in numerous parishes and communities across the state.
On the western side of Phoenix, there was a part of that reservation that was called Kamaki. They're all Pima Indians, but each one had their own small church. During that time, especially, I worked with St. John's a great deal, about a 45-minute drive to the west. That was a different group of Indians. They were simply Akchin Indians. Their little church was ready to fall down. So they put things together and began saving in order to build a new church. And during the time that I was there, we finally accomplished that.
I went to Arizona in 1990, and I began to work in South Phoenix as a community organizer at San Martin. It was the poorest neighborhood that I know of that we were working in. Our job was really to organize the mothers of gang members. Some of my fondest memories were living in the Mesa community and being able to share in the different ministries that we were just getting involved in and working with the associates. My work in Arizona also included my practicum, which was to set up sweat lodges in homes for battered women. We had a home called De Colores, where most of the women were Mexican or Native American. So it was very effective for the women because it was part of their culture.
Experiences with diverse people in Arizona instilled a call in many sisters to expand ministries to communities outside the United States.
Wherever you are, whether you're in Africa or Brazil or South Africa, Zimbabwe, all those countries where we are, that's what gives you life. The fact that you can be there with people.
To be enriched and appreciative of the differences rather than standoffish. If it's food, if it's family relationships, if it's celebrations, if it's liturgies, that's become more and more important to me as I move on.
It's a big picture, and when you're in leadership, we kind of divide up those 15 countries where we have a presence so that you are responsible to visit and to keep track of 2 or 3. And so I made friends in those places and still keep up with them because, it was a long time ago, but still you make friends for life. Through 75 years in Arizona, the sisters have worked hard to be attentive to changing needs. Sister Meg Walsh is one of the sisters who continues active ministries in Arizona today.
Present-day ministry is working on different Cursillo retreats and giving talks to different groups, working with the unhoused people who are migrating toward a better life. Through our Live the Good program, we encourage people to accompany us to come and work, building homes. So it's a great opportunity to continue sharing God's goodness and helping people find affordable homes.
Arizona will always be special to the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur.
I think those have been the happiest years of my life.
It has been a beautiful journey with God, and I'm so glad I'm here. And that beautiful journey with God continues.
Together with you, we celebrate our mission to teach, to stand with people made poor in the most abandoned places, and to celebrate the goodness of God.
I would like to say thank you for sharing your beauty, the beauty of your state, the beauty of your lives, for welcoming us and sharing who you are and your families. I want them to realize what a gift Arizona has been to us.
I miss Arizona very much. I had a wonderful 50 years there. I miss all of you. I hope you're carrying on all the good work that you know how to do.
Thank you, God. Thank you, people. Thank you, friends.